Do you know what is the size of short chain fatty acids? That's why they scavenge free radicals. Free radical means the tiniest terrorist, rupturing you, virtually rupturing you. And these fellows, they hunt. These are the short chain. They are much more powerful than free radicals. Hey, you are smart fellow, going everywhere, rupturing my blood vessels and my cells. Short chain fatty acid will capture the free radicals. Then carbs, as I told you, bread versus apple, frontal plane or transverse plane. Which carbohydrate you prefer? Transverse plane carbs you prefer or frontal plane carbs you prefer? What? The frontal plane, Kumar, I don't know even what plane. I only know one plane flight goes in. I only know this plane. Yoga is all about planes only. This is called frontal plane. And if you cut like this, cross section is called sagittal plane. And if you cut like this, if your Guru is going to cut you like this, Guru is going to cut you like this, Guru is going to cut you like this. Understand? Guru is the one who cuts you, who makes you realize your planes. Because it's all about realization of dimensions. Dimensions is all about planes. If you don't understand the planes, where you will understand the dimensions? Oh my God, Kumar, I never knew sagittal plane, all this. I taught best physiology, Kumar, best muscles, so and so teacher taught me this muscle, that muscle. If you don't know the plane, your muscle has no meaning. So, biomechanics is more important in yoga than sport mechanics. Biomechanics, there is a subject called a biomechanics in the sports, which is highly coveted subject. Biomechanics is much more important in yoga than your knowledge of the muscles. It's not that you should not have knowledge of the muscles. How they move. So, the carbs are very, very important for your flexibility. They are your fuel. But which fuel gives you flexibility, which kind of the carbs takes away your flexibility, agility? That's a question. So, the carbs in this plane. So, do you mean these carbs in frontal plane not good, Kumar? No. Percentage it is all about. It is all about, yoga is all about balance, middle path. It is all about balance. How much you need to have this kind, how much you need to have frontal plane carbohydrate, how much you need to have transverse plane carbohydrate. If you translate it, you call it starch, you call apples, you call vegetables, you call fruits, you call wheat, or you call this. Hey, I eat only buckwheat, Mishakama. I only eat fiber, raw. I only eat brown. It has no standard if you talk to me. What for it is very, very important. How much proportions, which one? Yoga is all about finest of fine balance, understand? You are the finest of finest creatures living on this planet. You are not an ordinary being. Every input has to be understood at that level. You are a most refined organism on this planet. You need to understand the refined. Yoga means refinedness. Why a skilled guru? Why a skilled surgeon? Why a skilled engineer? It is refinedness. Every day a surgeon realizes his skill becomes more precise, more refined, more refined. Yesterday the surgery was different. For every surgeon, even he is a 50-year-old, and when he is walking into the 51st year of experienced surgeon, as he is walking into the surgeon, and again he is a student there. Oh my God, yesterday it can be done like this. Oh, it is this way, simple. Yesterday the student who learned from is outdated, and because the discovery of this surgeon today, and only today's student will get it. And if the student doesn't catch up with the surgeon of today's discovery, is outdated. Oh, I already finished with my training with that surgeon. You don't understand. And by the time, whether he will understand more or whether you understand more, this surgeon with the same wisdom, in fact, he will understand. His progress is far superior, you can't cope. For you to cope with this person's wisdom, unless this person is a dummy. But to cope with this person's wisdom, you have to grow 45 years. So you can never catch up. If your surgeon have a wisdom, and if your surgeon is a listener, and if he is a learner, and I can tell you, you may be having 12 gold medals, but this person with the wisdom with the 12 gold medals in 1950 or 1960 or 1970, now in 2018, with your gold medals, you can't compete with this surgeon. This surgeon every day, he not only knows your stand, he is much be skilled. Understand? So your gold medals in all the subjects, they don't qualify. They only qualify you to undergo surgery, to become a surgeon, to get trained by a best surgeon. That's all. Today what I teach you, they're outdated. If they think, oh, already we have seen, already we learned, you are deluded about the very yoga concept, about very guru itself. You must have seen a yoga teacher training means, it is the same. And once you create that syllabus, those books, and you go, this is what it is, yoga is all about. These are the posture, series A, series B, series C. This is about the diet, this is about Shat Darshana, this is about this. And on that website, you see today, and you see tomorrow, you see day after 4 years, the same syllabus. Whether you go to Krishnamacharya tradition, whether you go to Iyengar tradition, whether you go to, so Epattabhijaya's tradition. That's it. Your surgeon is the same. You go to a surgeon and so who is a 30 year back, and the same set of practices he is practicing, or today whatever the latest technique is there, and he observed that technique and he is giving, to where you go for the training. I went there, those schools, and then if you get stuck up with only that, you get stuck up there. A guru is, that's why I said, tasmai, a guru is to be hold on, not to be left. At any point of time, if your guru is constantly practicing, constantly learning, and he is much more smarter, he has much more wisdom than you. If he is a dummy than you, he is different. But I can tell you, Patanjali is saying, your criteria of choosing a guru is absolute. You can never. That's why Buddha said, hey my dear guys, not possible to reach my wisdom. I only can see, to somewhat near to the extent this Sariputta, my right hand disciple, he struggled along with me so many lifetimes, but still I see his vulnerability in understanding. Unfathomable. What to do, my skill is different, your skill is different. You can't understand what I say. Yes, Sariputta is somewhat can understand me. Otherwise, you are all dummies, you can't understand. Okay. To a certain extent, to the level you can clean your mess, good enough. I am here to clean your mess. Buddha said, everyone can clean your mess. To that extent, fine. But don't try to become like me. Nowhere near. Because people started comparing with Buddha. Now and then, horns come. I am smart. One raises his eyebrows. Buddha, I also have the powers. Buddha, I also have no dharma. And whenever their horns grow, then he cuts the horns and he will make grow their ears. Buddha always. Entire Dhammapada is only about cutting the horns, Because this ponytail, so these students come, so it's like a small child when a guest comes, a small child tries to, show, what her dress is, what she is, what her speciality is. So a immature student, when comes to a tradition, comes to a teacher, and an immature student tries to show what all he learned, how he is the best student, in earlier tradition, how he is not unlike other students. He tries to show the student all her smartness, all his smartness, as if So then as elder we know, say as a child, when I go to a house, the child is showing her dress, showing her toys and showing her things. He's a child. Oh, my dear child, very good. Where did you buy this? And child gets excited. So Guru also, for immature student, Guru will say the same thing. But you should understand, Guru recognized you as just childish. He says, wonderful. You also say, when you go to the neighbor house, because he's a child, So, and do you want to disappoint the child, showing the toy? Oh my God. No, will Kumar, do you think will Kumar say, hey, I don't like the toys, you are at the childish level? Huh? Do you think what nonsense is this? This is called habit, addiction to the toys, you are harming yourself. No. Oh my God, where did you get this toy? Wonderful toy it is, I will get you next time the best toy ever. And I will make it a point. Next time I will go with the toy with the standards, And so, and the child, oh my God, uncle, hey grandpa, what kind of toy it is? I never found, and no one has given me this toy, grandpa. I love you. Mission accomplished, that's it. Then he won't like any other toys brought by any other, because Kumar taught her standard of the toy. So even for a toy there are standards. So, but what cheap toys you buy harm your children, and simply quoting BPA free not enough. Simply quoting food grade not enough. Be cautious. A toy made with pure silicone rubbers, okay to a certain extent. That too you have to wash them, you have to soak them, you have to overnight, in sodium bicarbonate solution and so lemon solution, you have to soak them overnight, and then the toys will become eligible to play for your child. No toy ever give it to your child brought from the market. First you have to prepare those toys, soak them in sodium bicarbonate and salt and citrus lemon water soak. 48 hours you soak. After 48 hours you take that. If still the toy is existing, let me tell you, so then the toy, so give it to the child. Child won't get harmed. But still, you have to keep cleaning this so the child won't get affected. You take anywhere, anything, everything. Your watch too, your clothes too. You may be knowing, you know the standards, but you will realize a guru means absolute standards. It doesn't mince the words. Like this. Ahara. Is it over, Mr. Kumar? What about micronutrients, my dear? Do you think you know about the calcium? You know how the calcium orotate functions? Calcium orotate only I will consume. No, not enough. Calcium orotate, calcium glycinate, calcium succinate, calcium citrate, calcium. Why do you think nature has given 15 kinds of the calcium? Nature is full. So we also need 15 kinds of the calcium. Magnesium. In a single form of the magnesium, do you think your body absorbs? Each cell absorbs in a different way. So you have to give all kinds of the magnesium. How many kinds of the magnesium? Minimum 8 kinds of the magnesium you have to give. Iron? So also iron also. Minimum 8 kinds. What should be the maximum? Bisglycinate, aspartate, very expensive iron. Not the cheap iron. Are you buying a cheap iron tablets? Are you buying expensive iron? Simply, I am swallowing iron tablets, Kumar. It's not working, this iron doesn't work. I used iron. Then when I asked what kind of iron you used, how many forms of the iron, what combination of the irons you used, have you used with vitamin C and with the bioflavonoids, have you used with the vitamin D3? Have you used it B12? Have you used it with which kind of the B12? Have you used it 6 kinds of the B12 when I use? Oh my God, it's getting complicated, Kumar. That's why I did not observe. You won't get the benefit unless you know the standard. Micronutrition is, why it's called micro world? Microcosmos means the world inside is much more complicated. What you are made, your biochemical reactions, the entire evolution is amazing, right? Amazing engineering inside, amazing biochemical engineering, amazing biomechanics engineering, amazing biochemistry pathways, amazing pharmaceutical pathways, metabolic pathways, each pathway. You can see any contemporary nature published research paper, in vitro, in vivo studies, and when you see the structures, I can understand, but for you it looks, what is this? All these chemicals, so many terminology, what all these things happening inside me. So your diet, ahara, vihara, your syllabus, I am discussing the introductory talk, what my students learnt. I told you, they learnt up to medium chain triglycerides, existing students, and poor students, they can't learn tomorrow. If they don't join, they can't learn, because it is subscription based. How can we give it for free for a life? Even if I give free, I have told you the problem is indebtedness. I don't want to push you into indebtedness. That is a crime if I do it. That never happened in the history of the yoga. Ashrams are run by the people. So also this is run by you, not by me. Teachers are untouched, stainless. So I also am untouched. I am only a teacher. That's all. So this system has to run. So for that you are paying. That's all. Ashrams are maintained by the villages. Ashrams are maintained by the donors who sponsored their wards. No student can join in the ashram unless he has a sponsor, unless he has a donor, unless he has a godfather. In the abroad you have a godmother, godfather. So everyone who joins in a monastery or anywhere, he has to have a godfather. Godfather, you know very well. Anyone can be godfather, anyone can be godmother. Godfather, godmother means whom you are not born, first of all, understand. So anyone can be your donor. But you have to say, you are self-sponsored, you are the greatest. Understand? So I am not making you dependent. My job, yoga, is to make you independent. So I am making you to pay your own course. So you are not indebted to the tradition. So your indebtedness to me only will go when I ask at the end of the course, Guru Dakshina, what you are giving me. I will tell you, some give me 10 pounds, again in that, it goes back to you. I won't keep. But if I don't ask you, it won't work for you. That's called Guru Dakshina. If I were in your position, I told always simple answer. What you want my life, sir, I give. Simple. Always. Iyengar, Pattabhi, wherever I went, my answer is very simple. Whether he asked or not, I always, that is a tradition. I always went to the teacher. If the teacher not asked, I went to the teacher. I asked, sir, what do you need? I am ready to give my body. You want my arm, I can cut and give you. If you want my head, I can cut and give you. If you want my liver, I can cut and give you. If you want my leg, I can cut. Hey, what do I do with your leg, Kumar? What do I do with your arm, Kumar? But there is where I have not requested the teacher, where I made teacher to ask something and I gave him back. I gave it. Then only your indebtedness to teacher will go away. 100% it is. And it should be any teacher whom I met, whom I learned, I think I must have given much more than what the teacher ever expected, much more than ever any contemporary student has given. My whole life is only a learning. Until I got married, my whole life is only giving, never thinking what I have. I didn't have a penny in my bank account. Even after doing so many years of job, until I got married. After getting married, so you have to maintain your family, so you need to have so-called your money. Then only my money started, otherwise until then there is no my money. So, ahara, vihara, exercise, yoga and its limbs, asanas. So what is the zero resistance? Adhyatmika krama. That northern traditions or Charanadasa Varga, Kurantaka, the other two vargas, understand. The methodology in which you practice yoga is one is Charanadasa. These are the northern traditions practice, northern Indian traditions practice. Contemporary northern Indian traditions practice. Himalayan practices are called Kurantaka, Kapalikas. Kurantaka traditions. Kurantaka style, Charanadasa style. When I started teaching yoga, I started teaching Charanadasa style. So standing postures and then sitting postures and then sitting postures and then prone postures and all the prone postures and supine postures and inversions systematically. You move. So 87 postures of the Charanadasa is a varga which gives you, but it is quite intensive, quite premature compared to Tibetan, the original styles, because Charanadasa is a much later generation compared to the Kurantaka generation. So what Krishnamacharya picked up is a Kurantaka, the Tibetan style, Kapalikas, 6th century, 7th century practices of the yoga. Kurantaka traditions, Kapalika traditions, Kurantaka traditions. So in the tradition, whether you practice this, this practice is much more elaborated. So because we learn in Tibet or we learn in Himalayan traditions, so the criteria is called, that's what Krishnamacharya tried to tell you, called zero resistance means oxidative phosphorylation, beta oxidative phosphorylation, engineering oxidative phosphorylation processes. That is the infinite energy comes, infinite energy this source gives you. Infinite energy, through 22 hours a day you feel energized. You won't feel even a moment of tiredness at all. Even just 4 hours of sleep, more than enough. Zero resistance. Training for, if the body is only in a zero resistance and your metabolism is boosted like anything, your body is automatically ketogenic. Understand? Your body is automatically ketogenic and you are already a yogi. You eat less. You have enormous energy. So that's why highest worshipped method is called zero resistance. There is no resistance in any cell in your body whatsoever. Then comes zero resistance, you move into resistance. Shikshanakrama. Energy conservation mechanisms, alignment, balance, center of line passing through the center of mass, line passing through the center of gravity. Are you going proximal or dorsal or distal, proximal? Always yoga is conservation of energy, not consumption of energy. All that you have to keep in the mind when you do a asana, biomechanics, center of mass. Proximal means, so along the center line, as you are moving, I may call it distal. As you move close is called proximal. Your entire effort is this is called consumption and this is called conservation. Every asana, the fundamental principle is this, proximal. Conservation of energy. How easily you are doing the posture, simple. In your understanding, how easily you are doing the posture, not taxing any joint, not taxing any ligament, not taxing any bone, not disorienting any muscle, respecting the strands, sarcomeres, orientation in the muscle, and that is called center of line, center of gravity passing through. They have to keep both the lines together. That's called proximal. If your center of gravity is here, center of mass is here, distal, then consumption of energy is used. Like any sport activity, any athlete activity, and you are moving away from the center line means energy consumption. You are burning the calories. You have to eat more and burn more. means your lifespan comes down and your mind cannot be in a conserved mode, consumption mode. That's what the world is all about, the fitness. Consumption mode and burning mode. Consumption mode it is, more input, more output. Yoga is other way, less input, more output. Entirely different. It is not more input. From more input means less output it means. You should understand. All your physical training outside, your means of exercise is more input, less output. But yoga is exactly opposite. Less input, more output. This is called Shikshana Krama. If you have learned something from Iyengar, like I learned from Iyengar, and if you met an Iyengar, what you learn is only this, alignment and balance. Who knows alignment and balance? Without even using any props, the Krishnamacharya body is absolutely speaks this. That's why he lived long, because he conserved. He understood the principle of conservation. They have not understood. Again, consumption mode. And of course, and what Iyengar meditated, Iyengar is my guru, as he says. And he says, your job is proximal. But he never understood. If you have gone to zero resistance only, you will understand what's the conservation. This is not a parrot making program. It is to check where you have to check. It is a coaching you, enable you to correct others. Darshana, I am going to train you how to observe, what to observe. It is not a parrot. Why? It has to be, the foot has to be like, why? What center of line? What is the center of mass? How it is going? Where it is? The focus is. It is not that you look in the top in the sky, you look down in the sky, you look behind, you look in the front. No, that is unscientific language. We speak scientific language. Understand? So, zero resistance, alignment, balance. For this reason only, Kurantaka. Flow. Upavinyasas, vinyasa. It is only the purpose of that is only this. How conservation happens. How a simple pendulum moving. Observe. A simple pendulum is the best example of energy conservation. Entire yoga is just flowing like this, going like a simple pendulum, going like this and flying like this and going like this, going like this and going like this and going like this and going like that. Effortlessly. Everything moving along the center line, flowing along the center line of mass, flowing the line of mass in line of gravity. A train going in its track. A train can go, a train running on two tracks. Not to miss. So then only it can go at 500 miles per hour. Not 200 miles maximum. But a train has to go at 500 miles per hour. Say miles per hour. And two tracks not possible. Either it has to fly in the sky, in the air, or a single track. So which is more efficient, two-track train or single-track train? Single-track train is more efficient. Your bicycle, vis a vis your car, which consumes more energy? Your car has to use what nature provided, hydrocarbons. Your cycle doesn't need any hydrocarbon, your hydrocarbon. You give hydrocarbon here, convert it into mechanical energy and convert it into work, and your bicycle you ride. It is a single track, your bicycle. Your car has two tracks. Very expensive it is. This is very economic it is. This is consumption, this is conservation. Understand? Yoga is all about not running on the two tracks. Yoga is only one line. It is all about you moving in one line. the center of gravity, center of mass, flow. And 500 miles per hour. And this moving, why? Simple pendulum is moving like this. Have you seen any watch? And a pendulum is standing like this. Or have you seen all the time, And have you seen them? Say my arm is a pendulum like this. Or have you seen any watch moving like that? If it is like this, is good. Or if it is moving like this, it is good. If it is moving like this, it is called NEAT, NEAT exercise. It is the most efficient way of burning your calories without burning yourself. It is the most efficient way of staying. This is the most efficient way of staying healthy. It is the most efficient way of boosting your energy. Simply morning to evening, wherever you are doing like this. And wherever you are just doing like this. Some movement. Movement only brings conservation. Otherwise called jadatva, tamasic inertia. The entire purpose of yoga is to convert moment of inertia into moment of acceleration. But by conservation, not by consumption. What? Moment of inertia to moment of acceleration.